Yo, what is up peeps? This is your boy iGuru back with a new video, and today I'm going to talk about my new toy in the garage, which is the tier 7 Swedish medium tank, the Leo. I don't know why it's called the S13 Leo short. Something's wrong with there's a bug or something. But anyway, so what I did was free XP up to the tier 6 STRV 74, and this is it. It takes about 65,000 free XP to research the STRV from 0 straight to tier 6. 65,000 free XP, and if you want a fully loaded STRV 74, it takes about 85,000 XP, which is what I did. And immediately after that, I spent 3 days playing strongholds in tier 6, which is equivalent to about 6 hours of strongholds, and the 60,000 XP I needed to get to research the tier 7 Leo, which is what I did. And once I spent the 60,000 and bought the Leo, I spent another 16,000 free XP to get the highest gun and mounted it. So after I got the tank, I had to mount these springs in order to mount the rammer and the gun lane drive. Now once that is done, I'm going to play a few games in this tank and make sure I can have enough XP to research the tracks. And once I am able to mount the tracks, I can remove the springs and replace that with coated optics, which is what I like to play with. And as you can see, I have 3 crew here that have 60 something odd % first skill. And how did I do that? Well, in 3 days of grinding in the STRV tier 6 in strongholds, I had a 75% crew. I only used credits for my crew, so I spent 80,000 to train the crew up to 75%, and I played 3 days of strongholds with it, and the crew finally reached 100%. And then I transferred the crew, and if I transferred the crew to the Leo, I would lose that 100% crew. It will automatically go back to 75% if I retrained with credits. So instead, what I did was, before I transferred the crew into the Leo, what I did was play in the premium STRV. The STRV M4257 tier 6 premium tank, and this is basically my crew trainer. I've trained 2 sets of 3 skilled crews in it, and before I transferred my STRV 74 tier 6 crew into the Leo, I played 1.5 hours of strongholds with that crew and got the first skill past 40%. Now remember that number, 40%. It's very important that you get your first skill past 40% before you retrain them into your Leo with credits. Now the reason you do this is because once you retrain your crew, you will lose some XP. And if you have your first skill past the 40% mark, then you're not going to lose that first skill. Instead, you will lose some crew skill, which is, as you can see, I've retrained all the crew with credits into the Leo, and this is my commander is 90%, the gunner is 99%, the driver is 99%, and the loader is 97%. But I managed to retain my first skill at 67%, 66. This is very important, because if you have 100% crew in your STRV 74 and you retrained for credits into your Leo with credits, you will lose that 100%. It will become something like 85%. So it's important that you get your first skill up to past 40% before you retrain, so that you don't lose that first skill. Oh, I hope you guys understood all that. But if you have the gold and want to spend the gold, then you're gonna save yourself a lot of hassle. The problem with me is I'm trying to save my gold, not spend any of it, because I need to top up my 6 months premium time again. It's about that time of year again that I need to spend the gold on the premium time. So I need to be quite careful with how I manage my gold. So I hope that was helpful. That bit of information is helpful to you, and so let's get straight to it.
3 weeks later.
Fast forward about 2 weeks later, and I have 50 games into this tank. It is fully researched. I have optics, gun laying drive, and rammer in the tank. And the reason why it's taken me so long to complete this video is because I could not decide exactly how I felt about this tank. This guy completely duped me, but you can see how long it takes me just to aim in for that shot. And here I am, aiming for the borsig. It takes me so long just to aim, to make sure that I get the sure shot. And the reload, over 10 seconds, I have to wait for that. And finally I get to take that shot. You can actually play this tank with two kinds of guns. One is the smaller caliber 75mm, and the other, which is this one, the 105 caliber that does 300 damage per shot. Now the smaller caliber gun, the 75mm, has a better DPM than this gun, but it does only 150 damage per shot. However, the reload is a lot quicker at 3.88 seconds. It plays like a comet. This gun plays like more like a T20, if you're familiar with that tank. The only challenge that you have with this gun is the accuracy of 0.4 and dispersion of 0.18. That is the real Achilles for this tank. It takes a long time to aim and make your shots. Alright, so here's my final setup for the tank. I have a 1.8 skill crew, and I have removed the fire extinguisher for the coffee and cinnamon bun, and it has made a lot of difference to the tank. Although stat-wise, it has only improved the aim time from 2.62 seconds to about 2.5 seconds, and the accuracy from 0.40 to 0.39. But it feels like a completely different tank with the food installed. You can actually have a gun that is reliable. You can snapshot, you can poke, and you can shoot confidently. Now this tank is already a quite mobile tank. It is not very nimble, it doesn't really turn like a sports car, but it has the speed to keep up with the fastest of the tanks. And with the gun being a lot better than it was without the food, right now it is playing through its fullest potential. This shot is completely impossible without food. Completely impossible. And so is the next shot. As you can see, I'm going to go for the lower plate of the Tiger P. Without the food, I would have completely missed that. That's for sure. Now remember, there are two options for this tank: the 75mm gun and the 105 gun. The 75mm gun does 150 damage, and it plays like a comet. If you like the comet play style, then that's probably the gun for you. It has higher DPM, and it is a good gun because it aims faster and it is more accurate to shoot. I played a few games with that gun, and I did okay with it, but I prefer a higher alpha gun, so I decided to stick with this one. But if you do decide to stay with the 105mm gun that does 300 alpha damage, make sure you go for the food. Don't be cheap. You need to buy the cinnamon bun and coffee when it's on sale. Buy a bunch of them and use them for this tank. because it desperately needs the accuracy and dispersion improvement. Right, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the information that might help you smoothen your way when you decide to grind out this tank. So I'll see you on the battlefield. Das Vidania.